Hello and welcome, my name is Martin and today we're going to be looking at IELTS Academic Writing Part 1 and how to report on bar charts. In this video today we're going to be looking at a sample question and how I would go about it in 20 minutes. I'll be sharing my screen but also recording my voice so you get an idea into my thought process about tackling a question. I'll attempt to tackle part 1 writing within 20 minutes, which is the recommended time that you take. And also I'll be providing a sample answer so that you can see the sort of language that I use and we can break it down a bit later in the video. In the meantime, let's get into it and let's have a look at this question. Okay, so to remind ourselves in terms of task 1 and what's expected, here's a bit more of the information that we looked at in our previous video. You need to spend about 20 minutes on IELTS writing task 1. You need to write more than 150 words and the task itself is worth a third of the overall writing score. During this task itself you may encounter one of several different types of charts. But for today, we're going to be looking at the bar chart and the question together. And the structure, just to remind ourselves of the structure, we need to focus on the general statement and the introduction, put that together, create the overview, and then we'll look at a detailed paragraph, 1 or 2 paragraphs, either combined together or separated, and then a final conclusion if needed. So that's the overall structure of what's expected when you go to write on task 1. Keep this in mind, and when we come to answer the question and make notes, you'll see I start to create all the different elements for writing task 1, and hopefully this will help you when it comes down to the same sort of task. Okay, so I have a question here which I've selected, and as you can see it's a bar chart as we're going to be looking at that today. And here you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. Okay, so let's get the timer started and we'll start now and you'll see how I do with regards to this task. Okay, let's begin. So you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The graph below shows the average daily sales of selected food items at the Brisk Cafe by season. Summarise the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making a few notes. So bear with me. And I'm going to start to make notes here. Alright, so I'm just starting to make a few notes to help me guide into the introduction and general overview. An average daily sales. Now when it comes down to this type of vocabulary, let me get my highlighter out. And here I want to start looking at trying to adjust the vocabulary here. We got food items and we got by season. So we can start to make the language a bit more informative, a bit more different to the language within the question itself. Okay. I can see here number of servings, average daily sales as I've highlighted above, and we got the seasons. I can see here we got drinks, iced coffee, hot coffee. Then we've got sort of food as well. So it's food and drinks, or food items as they say here. But I'm going to focus on food and drinks as well. Now let's get back to some of the vocabulary. So average daily sales. I'm going to go back to that because my brain isn't working so well at the moment. Number of servings, total sales, total sales of products, winter and summer. Can't kind of change this, so we're going to leave that for the moment. And Brisk Cafe average daily sales, typical so you can start to see I'm trying to make a different vocabulary, trying to extend it slightly. So I'm not going to be using the same vocabulary like number of servings or average daily sales. I want to try and change it. So here I've put total sales of products per product, I guess would be better. Total sales per product. Winter and summer, we can't really change that in English because it's either winter or summer. I guess we could change it to the winter months, or the winter and summer months. Okay, now I'm going to make a start with regards to my introduction now, and I'm going to copy this. We'll go over to our next page and we'll try and reduce the size of that slightly. So I've got my notes, and one thing that everybody should try and do whilst they're writing is to make notes before you start to write. An introduction. Right, let's see. Right, let's just change the size slightly so we can get a little bit more in. So in the graph above we can see total sales per product from the Brisk Cafe. With typical total sales per product from the Brisk Cafe with typical sales per day. Okay, so we got a brief introduction, and now I want to look at the overview. So general patterns, or that sort of thing. So as can be seen from the bar chart, warm beverages and food seem more popular in the winter months, while cooler beverages and are more popular in the summer months. Okay, so yeah, I'm having a look at the general patterns, and I can see here a huge difference between cooler, like the winter months, with regards to hot coffee and hot soup, while in the summer months, iced coffee, ice cream here is more popular. So I'm just including a general overview here with regards to the general patterns. I'm not really looking at salad, but I'll get into that perhaps a little later, or you could add an extra sentence. And one thing that we all need to do is check our English. Beverages, there we go, all the beverages. Okay, so just read it again. In the graph above, we can see total sales per product from the Brisk Cafe with typical sales per day. As can be seen from the bar chart, warm beverages and food seem more popular in the winter months, whilst cooler beverages are more popular in the summer months. Right. There we are in terms of our introduction and overview, and so far we are about 8 minutes into this task, so I've got about 12 minutes to continue, and I'm going to work on the detailed paragraph 1 and 2, I suppose, and I'm going to try and summarize the information and make comparisons whilst I'm doing that. So let's get our notes here. So detailed paragraph. Okay. Product servings appear to be affected by the seasonal the season, with hot coffee being served per day, being served around 75 times per day, while iced coffee is served okay, I'm starting to try and put everything together. Iced coffee is served at nearer 1 or 2 times per day. Right, the only thing I haven't got here is winter. During the winter. Okay, so we've got the key information here. Hot coffee being served around 75 times per day, while iced coffee is served nearer to 1 or 2 times per day during the winter. However, in the summer, there is a stark difference with iced coffee being more popular in the summer and served around 40 times per day, while hot coffee is served around 30 times per day. ice cream appear to follow the same pattern as iced coffee, with it being more popular in the summer than the winter. Okay, so at the moment I'm trying to put in hot coffee, ice cream and iced coffee and comparing the differences and the similarities and reporting the main features. So here we've got 75 times per day. Okay, and this is where we are with regards to hot coffee. Iced coffee is about 1 or 2 times per day during the winter. However, in the summer there is a stark difference, with iced coffee being more popular in the summer and served around 40 times per day, while hot coffee is served around 30 times per day. Ice cream appear to follow the same pattern as iced coffee, so I'm trying to make the connection here with ice cream and iced coffee, with it being more popular in the summer than the winter. I suppose what we could add here is just a few figures. Okay, now the only things which haven't been looked at are soup and salad, so we're going to have a look at that in perhaps the next paragraph. So far we've got a nice paragraph written here looking at 3 items, from hot coffee to ice cream, and we've got about 5 minutes remaining, so I'm going to speed up a little bit because I can see that I'm going to be running a little bit out of time. Okay, so in terms of ice cream, iced coffee and hot coffee, that's done. So detailed, come on, spell correctly, detailed paragraph 2. Let's bring that up a little bit. And here we're going to look at soup and salad. A soup appears to follow the same pattern as hot coffee, with it being more popular in the winter months. Okay, soup appears to follow the same pattern as hot coffee, with it being more popular in the winter months, ordered around 50 times per day. Okay, so however, served salad is the only item which seems to be as popular in the winter, than the summer. So it's the same, yeah. And here you can see I've made the key comparison with salad being as popular in the winter than the summer. I could add served around 25 times per day there, and I'm done. Okay, so there we are. In terms of this, we have the key introduction. We got the overview, we got the introduction overview written out. We have the detailed paragraph, number 1, and let me add here number 1, and this will be hot coffee and ice cream. Yeah, there we go. And then we have our final detailed paragraph 2, soup and salad. If I wanted to, but I'm not going to, I could include a sort of focus, a conclusion, whereby you could predict or you could anticipate and suggest possible beverages, possible cuisine for the winter and the summer months, but I'm not going to. Now, what I want to do is, here we have our main task, but I want to try and put everything together so you can see how it all appears as one big text, and then you've got a model to follow. So let me put this together. And you can see how things are developing. Now, that's that. And let's go back to our previous one and detailed paragraph. And detailed paragraph 2. There we go. And detailed paragraph 2 done. Okay, so we have the introduction, overview, detailed paragraph 1 and detailed paragraph 2 as a model. And in terms of this, let me calculate how many words that is. So bear with me whilst I bring up my calculator and get everything calculated. Okay, so I've written about 221 words here. Okay, now let me create this and duplicate it. And I'm going to just bring everything back in. What I would suggest, rather than putting everything together as one whole paragraph as a block, I would suggest that people and students write it and paragraph it, leave a line space in between each paragraph, so it's a lot easier for the examiner to mark. Okay, so there we have our whole written model. And let's have a quick look at the language. So we'll just spend a few minutes looking at the language. Okay. And here, rather than using, daily sales, I wanted to put sales per day. So one thing I would recommend is trying to adjust the language. So rather than repeating it, as I've mentioned before, trying to use a variety of language. So you show the examiner that you're able to use a variety of language. Here we got number of servings, and I wanted to try and change it slightly, particularly here with ordered. I do have this one being served, but to adjust it slightly to make it less repetitive, trying to adjust the language, and rather than using servings itself, I want to try and use to be served. Yeah, being served around 75 times per day. Okay. Winter and summer, most students would say in the winter, in the summer, but I want to say in the winter months, in the summer months. Again, that just illustrates to the examiner that you have a variety of language that you're using. Okay. Now, let's just remove the highlights. And any other things that I would recommend? Okay, yes, other things I would recommend, like around, I've used quite a lot. That's quite repetitive, so that'll be marked down, I guess, if I actually submitted it. You could just be a bit more vague with like around, about, nearer to, these sort of phrases, which would make it a lot easier. And yeah, don't do what I did by using the same word around, yeah, because it's too repetitive. Naughty teacher, naughty Martin. Okay. Seem more popular. Okay, so rather than saying it is popular in the winter, I'm trying to be a bit more vague and a bit more diplomatic, I guess. So English is certainly the language where we don't want to be so direct. We want to be a bit more appeasing. It seems more popular. It's nearer 1 or 2 times per day. Okay, I can see here I've used nearer instead of around, so that's not too bad, but about, nearer to, around, yeah, that would be better. Okay, it seems more popular. Right, I've used the term beverages instead of just drinks. I've used total sales per product. Average daily sales, total sales per product from with typical sales per day. So typical rather than average. Okay. And that's what I would recommend. Couple of things when you finish off. Have a read of what you've written. Try and break it down by paragraph, and you should be good to go. So there we are. These are my recommendations when it comes down to IELTS Academic Writing Part 1 and how best to report on a bar chart. I hope you found today's video useful, and if you did, please let me know in the comments. That would be great. And let me know if you have any tips or advice for other students with regards to IELTS Academic Writing Part 1. In the meantime, I hope to see you soon. Take care, stay safe, and happy learning. Bye-bye.